So I just thought we'd pull over, do a quick summary on the bike. So once again, for these ones coming in on one of these bikes for a scratch, these are a 500cc fuel injected single through a 5-speed gearbox, putting out 27 horsepower, and that's probably enough to kick you along once the bike's run in at say 100 kilometres an hour, comfortable with a top speed of 130 kilometres an hour. That'd be maximum speed for this, 130. You wouldn't want to be going that speed because it wouldn't last too long, I'd say. The other thing is they've got a 14.5 litre fuel tank, so they're good on petrol. On the old scale of miles to the gallon, they'll flog around 80-85 miles to the gallon. They've got a seat height of about 800 mils. What I like about this particular bike is the green colour scheme, and especially that silver chrome tank. I've never seen that on an Enfield Classic 500 or trials before, and it's the first time they've used a rack on this particular bike here too. What I do notice about this bike, it's a pretty hard rider. I've just completed a fair bit of dirt road riding, plus in the forest. Wasn't too impressed by the way it went in the forest, and I'm not really impressed too good on these tyres on the dirt either, because I found on the dirt road they move around a bit. Also in the forest, if you were thinking of buying this bike for doing a bit of trail work, don't bother, you'd be wasting your money. It's not good enough to do any sort of trail work, and it's really only a glorified 500cc Classic 500. As far as that goes, you can do it, and I'm not saying you can't do it, it's just not much good at it. You know, if you compared this to the KTM or the Kawasaki, what I had, well, they'd run rings around it. But get the bike out on the bitumen, and it's a totally different story, because after all, remember, this is advertised as a trails bike, but all it is really a 500 with a bit of dress up on it, and when you get it out on the road and you're cruising along, it's running along quite well. This particular bike of mine's running a little bit hard, either in the suspension. I was going to drop the rear springs a bit. This side would be easy. You can get into and adjust those rear springs down. This side here with this upswept exhaust, I'm going to have to get into it and pull that exhaust out of the way before I can even adjust that back down to a softer setting. I don't know what to think about these tyres. I'll have to check the air pressure what the dealer gave me. I haven't really got around to checking those. Regardless of what you think about these bikes, it's still a luck of the draw when it comes to whether you get a good or a bad one, and when it comes to vibrations, it just depends on how well they put that motor together, whether you're going to have a good or bad in that area. This one, like I said, is about average. You know, so far riding around, everything appears to be okay on the bike. The bike's starting alright. I've had no trouble with it in that area, so I think so far so good. So once I hit 200 kilometres, I'm going to do the first oil and filter change, and I think that's essential in this bike because they pick up a lot of rubbish, or most of them do, and sometimes you get a clear motor and sometimes you won't. So I'll do an oil and filter change at 200, and then a little bit after that the fueling's not 100% on this bike, and it's a bit rough. It's Euro 4's a bit better than the Euro 3. So what I'll do, I'll pull the booster plug off my 650 Interceptor, and I'll fit it to this bike and see how things go that way, and see if it smooths it out a bit. If you're wondering if I plan on putting anything like a sports exhaust on it or any upgrades to that side, at this stage no, I'm just going to run it with the stock standard exhaust, because I think that's the safest bet for me at the moment, because I've got a habit of running them a little bit quicker than what I should, and anytime I jump to a sports exhaust I strike problems. So at this stage I'm just going to take it easy, run through numerous heat cycles. Even if I think about doing a sports exhaust, it wouldn't be till I put 2,500 kilometres on the bike, because I know the chances of me picking up another one new would be getting a bit slim. This is the last of the Classic 500s, or the last of these trials bikes, so I'd better make the most of it and do the right thing by it. I haven't struck one false neutral at all, which for an Enfield's pretty rare. Like, you usually get them continuous, or quite a few of them in that first few hundred kilometres, or sometimes through the life of the bike. It just depends on how long you got them for. But so far everything's been good with this bike, and it's clicked into gears. But saying that, it hasn't all been roses either. This particular bike, it was alright around town, but once I hit out along the road and rode out here into the scrub out the other place through the forests and a few of these back roads where the roads are a little bit rough, I'm pretty sure this is still running stock Classic 500 suspension, and it's really rough out here, and when you hit bumps at throws the bike around, something terrible. Now it's either these tyres, you see it, causing the trouble and throwing the bike around, because usually these bikes have got Avon tyres on it, or they have here in Australia. You don't have trouble with those tyres at all. They're really good tyres and they're really good handling tyres. And these tyres are, one, causing the problem. Two, the dealer might have overinflated the tyres, and that's causing the problem with them bouncing around. I've already had a look at the shock setting at the back, so it looks like I could play around with the back once I remove that rear exhaust. But the only other thing, I'm hitting bumps at the front and throwing the steering around a bit when I'm riding it, and that problem could be up here in the front end, and that's when they assemble these bikes, the person in quality control may not have put the correct amount of oil in the front forks. And one particular bike, it was a couple of years back when I pulled the front forks out, I think one fork had 135 mil in one side, and the other one had 165 mil in the other, and the correct amount of fork oil is 195 mil in either fork, and it was a dirty brown oil, so there's no consistency in how they put them together. So you've really got to go into these bikes and check them out properly, because all you are is buying a new bike, and it's up to you to fix it up after that, I think. But apart from that, the bike is running well, so that's good. And you can just come in and fix the other things yourself. Now you might think I'm a bit worried or pretty upset about what's happened, or these few things I've had to do with the bike. No, not really. I don't really care anything about that, because I know the bikes well. Like I said, I've had 17 of them in total. I know what I'm coming into when I buy one of these bikes, and I really like the bike, so really doesn't worry me. I'll just go down, I won't even bother taking it back to the dealer for anything, and I'll just do the work on them myself, and at least I know that I can probably do as good a job with the repair work as them, if not better, and the job's done, and I might have to sort of cart it 500 kilometres for a round trip, and this way at least I know I've got a rough idea how to do it, fix it myself, and I don't even have to leave the house. Okay guys, I'm back from that trip out there in the scrub on the dirt road on that little 500 here. So first off, we'll come over here and we'll have a look at this 650 Interceptor, and I'll just show you something. Check out this front fork movement on the Interceptor. Okay, we got that. Now if you recall back out along the road, I said I had this bike in the forest and it wasn't much good. It was rough riding there, and I've been hitting the bumps, and I could feel every bump on this bike. Okay, keep an eye on the forks here. Yeah, so guys, see this here, got the bike up, got the brake on, trying to push it, nothing, just hardly wants to move. What's happened here, I'd say, is back over in India at the factory, the guy who was in charge of pouring the oil into the front forks, once again was a bit slack with his workmanship, and looks like the front forks may have to be pulled out of this bike. And I'll have to put the correct amount in. Fair bit of work involved. The front wheel's going to have to come off. Then the whole front part here pulled out, drained. So there'll be a little bit involved. So that's just another problem between it and the wonky speedo. So we'll conclude this clip now, and once again the next one coming up will be the 200 kilometre oil and filter change. We'll check it out and see if there's any types of rubbish in that oil when I do the change on that one. Followed on by after that it'll probably be the fitting of the booster plate. So once again, thanks for tuning in, take a look, catch up with you later.